Thank you for your support, and thank you for continuing to entrust us with your Cambio needs. We look forward to working with you. Thank you very much.
I just want to give you guys a special welcome for coming out to our new home, our beautiful home. We're enjoying it very, very much. Downtown, I mean, the view, the scenery is nice, everything, and we're really enjoying it here. I'm sure I'm speaking on behalf of our team, our entire GKMS and GK team. Although this is an FX trader function, I want to sneak in introduction to 2 new Western Union products that we just launched or launched a few months ago. One of them a few months ago in April, the other we're launching now. So guess what? You're the first to hear this. So you're very, very privileged. All right? So I'll tell you about the one that we launched in April of this year first, and that's our direct-to-bank service. So with this direct-to-bank service, some of you may be aware of the direct-to-bank where you have to call our call center. So once you register, you call our call center and you say, send the money to my bank account. And the call center, initiate the transaction, send it to your bank account. What we have that is new is that the sender can now send directly to your bank account. So once you come in and register, and you can register at any one of our locations, once you register, you just tell your sender, this is my bank account. And whether you bank with FGB, and we hope you bank with FGB, but just in case you have a second bank account with NCB and BNS, we ask, all you have to do is say to the sender, this is my number, my bank account number, send the money direct to my bank account. And all they have to do is send the money. It goes straight into your bank account. It's a wonderful service. And what we're doing is giving options to our customers. So you can walk into a location. If it's more convenient to you, you can get it in your bank account. And there's more to come. Now, the second product that I'm going to tell you about, Western Union has a relationship now with Amazon. So what we're offering, so picture this. You want to order something on Amazon, but you don't want to use a credit card, or you don't have a credit card. I'm sure I'm not speaking to the people here, but you want to pay by cash. We now offer you that option. All you have to do, you go on Amazon, you order your product, you get a code, you take that code, you go to our location, you show your ID, you pay the cash to any one of our locations. Well, select locations, and we'll produce the list of locations that we accept this cash payment for Amazon. You'll get, and once you make that payment within seconds, right, Ronald? Seconds, because we tested it. Within seconds, your account is updated and your goods are shipped. So whether you want Amazon to ship it direct to you in Jamaica, you want to send it to a family in the US, you want to send it anywhere, it's delivered. So now you're able to pay for your Amazon goods with cash. What an innovation. And this is what we're launching. This is what we're bringing to you. And you'll hear about that very soon. As I said to you, you're the first to hear it. So you're a very privileged group. All right? So we just want to thank you again for coming. And those are some of the new products we're coming out with, or that we have launched and in the process of launching. And I'm sure you'll hear a lot more from GKMS, because we're a very innovative group, and we're always listening and seeing what our customer needs and what we need to bring to you. So thank you again for your business.
So I'm now joined by Margaret Campbell. She is the country manager for the Grace Kennedy Money Services Jamaica. Hi, Ms. Campbell. Nice to have you here with us this evening.
How are you?
I'm great, thank you. All right, so tell us about some of the brands that fall under GKMS.
Okay, GKMS, Grace Kennedy Money Services, which it stands for, is the umbrella brand for Western Union, FX Trader, This mingle is for FX Trader and Bill Express.
Okay, so you have managed to move from New Kingston to the beautiful downtown Kingston, Jamaica. I mean, I love the amazing view that I'm seeing. How has the transition been like?
It has been great, absolutely wonderful. We have a nicer view, a waterfront view. The building is more efficient. Definitely the traffic is much better, you know, the New Kingston traffic. I think the team is having a great time being downtown, and we would recommend it to anyone.
Awesome. Keep up the great work. More highlights when we return. Thank you.
The Good Life, your weekly dose of information on nutrition, wellness, and fitness. Discover ways to nurture your mind, body, and spirit.
Dodgen Global offers a CPA scholarship program to team members who join our team. A career in accountancy at Dodgen Global is a great choice and can offer you excellent job prospects. We believe that an accounting education is the greatest gift you can give yourself or anyone else. Few gifts make as significant an impact as the gift of an accountancy education with a job. It's a contribution that lasts a lifetime in the form of learning, opportunity, and success. Join our team and get the opportunity to be part of our CPA scholarship program. This scholarships awards program will be administered by the HR department of Dodgen Global. Requirements: first degree in accounting, employed at Dodgen Global, willing to pursue the CPA examination. Here's how to apply. Submit application to Staff Accountant, Dodgen Global. Email sa@dodgen.com.
Welcome back to Business Access TV's coverage of the FX Trader Customer Mingle. Let's head to the floor for more.
So, ladies and gentlemen, to talk to us about changing the face of foreign exchange, the FX Trader way, please put your hands together and let's welcome the one, the only, the incomparable, Mr. Richard Blake.
I'm very happy to welcome you all today to this, our FX Trader VIP Customer Mingle. It's very important to me for you to be here, and I really, really hope that you have a great time here today. I want to introduce to you, before I go further, my team, right? These are the most important people in this business as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going to ask that my team members here today, my FX Trader team members, Christopher, Rochelle, and Colleen, come and join me up here, please. All right. So Christopher, Colleen, and Rochelle, right? Ladies and gentlemen, these are the people that makes it happen every day, right? And we hold them a lot. This company holds a lot to them. FX Trade, as you know, has been around from 1996, and I think Stephen has given a good overview of the company. I don't need to go into it again, but we have been around for a long time, and we have been changing the face of foreign exchange in this country for a long time, and we intend to continue doing that, right? We are the largest cambio in the Caribbean, with 37 locations across the length and breadth of Jamaica, and another 25 in Trinidad. As a cambio, though, right, a lot of people don't realize that we are not just an over-the-counter business. You are here today because through you, we are doing volumes of over $1 billion year-to-date, buying and selling. We are paying your suppliers in over 130 currencies across the globe, right? We're helping companies to grow right, from ground zero. In fact, I'll tell you a story of a company who started doing business with us. Transaction was probably about $20,000 per month. They came in with a small biscuit box full of cash, and we would process those transactions, take her to a secure place, and she would do her business. Today, she's one of the most loyal customers that we have, doing business or doing transactions of over $400,000 per week, right? She has grown from a sole trader operating out of a small place to now she has a factory or with huge warehouse space on the wharf, limited liability company, properly structured, and doing very well. We have been growing with companies for the last 20-odd years, and we will continue doing so. For you specifically, we're going to change the way you do business with us. We're going to change the way you do business in this industry, right? No longer you're going to have to be filling out forms, right? Your transaction now can go from an hour to 5 minutes, be reduced to 5 minutes. Power's in your hand. You determine how, when, and where, right? That's how we're changing the face. We're giving you the power to do business with us. We're empowering you, right? We're giving you a level of convenience that is unmatched in this country, right? We're giving you rates. We already are giving you the best rates, right? And we're giving you availability of funds, right? But we are changing the face of this industry, and we're going to start with you.
How has FX Trader changed the face of foreign currency?
Well, from our inception in 1996, we have been changing the face of foreign currency in Jamaica. We are the largest network in Jamaica, and in fact in the Caribbean, we have 37 locations across the length and breadth of Jamaica. We have 25 locations in Trinidad, right? We are everywhere in this country. But we are not resting on that. We realize that our customers have specific needs, right? And as such, we have gone out to ensure that we create products and services. So for example, the website again is one such need that we'll fulfill, right? By allowing customers to really choose what kind of service they want, where they want to do business, with whom they want to do business, right? So for example, you can go online now and indicate that you'd like to purchase $100, tell us where you want to purchase it, and go and pick it up at your leisure, right? Very soon, a transaction will be seamless with us. You don't even have to walk into a location.
I'm now joined by Sylvia Tomlinson, and she is one of the longest serving customers of FX Trader. What's the name of your business?
Quality Grains and More Limited.
Okay, so how long have you been a customer with FX Trader?
I think it's about 20 or 16 or a long time. I don't even remember because it's a long time we are doing business.
So, I mean, tell us about your initial experience with the company and how have you benefited over the years?
All right, when I can't get any money from anywhere else, I know definitely I can come to FX Traders and really get it. And if I do not have money, I do not have a business. So I really appreciate FX Traders.
And how has their help, really helped your company to grow? Because you just mentioned the fact that they give you money. How has it helped your business to grow over the years?
Because they give me low rates, and it really helps me. And they give me the money that I need, really, and I really love it.
My last question to you, what would you say to other businesses to get on board with FX Trader?
I'm telling you, you can come on board because FX Traders is really the one that you are supposed to partner with, that your business can grow more and more and more. I love it.
Thank you very much, Ms. Tomlinson. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Don't go anywhere. We wrap things up when we return at the FX Trader Customer Mingle.
Cameo takes you behind the scenes of Jamaica's exploding creative industries to give you an insider's look at how creatives get the job done.
I'm really picky about how we treat our customers.
As creative people, we went a little bit over the top.
Each week, we interview innovators leading the charge in their industry. The chaos of creativity meets the stricture of structure on Business Access TV's Cameo.
Usually people say to us, boy, I can't get U.S. securities and, you know, I love the Jamaica Stock Exchange. I've made all this money, but I want to buy some U.S. stock. We will be very happy to assist you in that regard. We have exposed clients to Facebook without the Cambridge Analytica issues and Google and Walmart and all others. We really want to ensure that everyone can step into a Grace Kennedy building and not have to leave and go to another financial institution. Because if you need to send money or receive money, you have GK Money Services. If you need a bank, you have First Global. And if you ever want to pull some money from the bank in pursuit of Grace Kennedy stock, you have GK Capital. And if you really want to go overseas, you don't even need to step outside the door. So that's a bit of what we do. And if you need to go public, or there may have been a plastic ban recently, you may say, you know what, we need to retool and diversify our business. Give us a call. You never know. We could be of service.
I was talking to some of the clients this evening, and I realized that we have a number of business people here, a number of persons who've grown your business from the ground up, right? And as you continue to grow your business, you want to ensure that you have a partner that's with you, so that should the unfortunate happens, there's somebody that's there to help you to ensure that you're not starting from scratch again. And that somebody, that partner is GK Insurance. Your place from Grace Kennedy, your insurance place from Grace Kennedy, right? And so what are some of the things that we do? We provide you with property insurance, we provide you with business insurance, your equipment, your contents, all of these things we provide you with insurance for. Your motor vehicle insurance, goods in transit, because a number of you are business people and you want to ensure that while you're moving the products, you have insurance. And one of our latest introduction is cyber insurance. So we talk about, you know, our Western Union Online and FX Trade Online, and you want to ensure that you have cyber insurance cover. I mean, a number of us in the insurance industry might be more familiar with some of this information, but did you know that cyber threat in last year was just as expensive as catastrophes? Right? So cyber in and of itself is a real emerging threat that businesses are facing, and we have it as real problems in Jamaica. We have a VIP team that will come to your business. We'll come, we'll sit with you, we'll talk insurance with you, we'll work out your various solutions to ensure that you have the best service. And if it is that you don't want to come direct, we do have our sister company, Amanda, our broker, that they will also come to you and ensure that you get the proper insurance. So we know that you love FX Trader, and because you love FX Trader, we know that you will love GK Insurance, right?
I don't know about you, but I'm moved to do some serious business. Thank you very much, sir. And at this time, our final presentation, Kentil King, rep from FGB. Please come forward. Please put your hands together for him, please.
What a blessing it is to be here on the cooler side of Kingston to fellowship with the GK family, our distinguished executives, and of course, our VIP customers. Now, why it is that you should bank with First Global Bank? Of course, First Global Bank's mission is to ensure that we empower you to get ahead in life and in business. What else do you require in a bank, right? Now, they say happy wife, happy life. And we believe happy customer, happy business. And that's why we at First Global Bank, a full-service bank, believes in service. We have dedicated staff members to ensure that your end-to-end financial needs are taken care of. And we provide full-service, purpose-driven solutions to ensure that you're taken care of. Yes, we're one of the smaller commercial banks, but guess what? Whenever First Global Bank comes to you, to the market, we ensure that we come to you as Grace Kennedy Financial Group. We leverage the relationships from our sister and brother companies, and you can ensure that we take a holistic approach and all your financial needs will be taken care of under one shop.
Thank you very much, Mr. King. I'm going to go out on a limb here to kind of vouch for what you're saying, because as an FGB customer as well, one of the things I enjoy, and I tweeted this, I think on the weekend, I said, some of the things I enjoy about a bank is, one, if it opens on a Saturday, which FGB is open on a Saturday, and at night as well, it opens until 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Oh gosh, love that. And then of course, they have a wicked mobile app that just give me I just love the app so much. Love it to know. And of course, they're one of the few banks who have not totally abandoned their drive-through option as well. So I personally can say this, I love FGB. Thank you so much, Mr. King. Can you give them another round of applause, please? Awesome, and that concludes all our presentations. And now we're gonna get into the fun part.
So, if you have an FX in your license plate, you can win a prize. Congratulations! Come forward, my love. Please come forward. We have prizes for you. The guest with the most foreign currency on their person. You have 4 too? What are they?
US, I have Trinidad, Bahamas, and Dominican.
Sure!
There is a new FX Trader logo. Your job is to spot the difference in this logo compared to the previous one.
Okay, so the FX Trader, the old one has money exchange and cambio. The new one has FX Trader with the cambio only. It has changed color from a dark green to a lighter green. It's pink as well. And I see a line between the cambio to probably I like the cambio aspect of it.
All right, because you designed it. No, it's must you design it. You know every nook and cranny about the new logo. Congratulations to you, my darling. $20 US. Put your hands together for her, please.
Here supporting this evening's Mingo is Joan Marie Powell, and she is the former CEO for Grace Kennedy Money Services. Tell us about this evening's Mingo. Why did you feel the need to support it?
You know, FX Trader is one of my startup companies when I was at Grace Kennedy Money Services, so I'll support FX Trader in every way. I think it's a good initiative to have their clients and their agents and staff actually have a mingle to talk to their clients about what is happening, the offers that they have, and so I thought it was really a good initiative.
And my final question to you, because you are one of the foundation members.
I'm one of the founders of FX Trader.
Wow, so clarity there. So what would you have seen in terms of the growth and of the company over the years?
Oh, absolutely amazing growth. Because when we started, it was just Jamaica, and now we have spread to Trinidad and Tobago as well. But we are now the #1 cambio in the Caribbean. So it's amazing growth.
So I'm here with one of the customers enjoying tonight's mingle. How has it been for you?
It's a great experience to mingle with business people.
Okay, so what has your experience been like working with FX Trader?
Throughout the years, it's been a challenging relationship with them, trading with them, but it's all good. That's why we're here.
Hi, Nigel. Good evening. What brings you out tonight? How have you been enjoying the mingle?
Well, my agent from FX Traders has invited me out, and so therefore I just decided that I would come and see what's going on tonight. And it has been a very good night.
What's been good about it?
Well, it's the idea of the mingle allow us to interact with each other. It gives us a chance to see other people who enjoy the services from FX Traders to communicate with each other and mingle, and also make a connection. It's all about the connection.
Good food, good wine, and most of all, good company. That's a wrap of Business Access TV's coverage of the FX Trader Customer Mingle at the beautiful waterfront in downtown Kingston, Jamaica. Until next time, I am Tamara McHale. Keep watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
started out selling out of the trunk of my car.
If everybody think the same way, everybody going in the same line.
Being an entrepreneur takes everything that you've got. Weekends? What's weekends? We work on a weekend.
There are real opportunities everywhere you look.
But you have to have the passion.
If I do my part well, then everything is okay.
We believed in ourselves and our families believed in us.
Being convinced of this great opportunity, why we are all here doing what we're doing now.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
I am Granta Stevenson, Chief Executive Officer of Kingston Walls Limited, and you're watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
On Jamaica Magazine today, building on achievements over the next decade.
The seeds we have planted in the previous years are germinating, and we commit to making this decade one of increased growth, peace, and prosperity in our land.
And so government is heading into the next financial year with continued focus on increasing investments in infrastructure, skills and social development, health, education, security, and legislation, among others. And that's not all, as government is also encouraging our youth to stay focused while it builds the capacity of our athletes and coaches. Stick around for the details.
Jamaica, I can help you protect our citizens.
Jamaica Eye will play a part in increasing your public safety.
Jamaica Eye is part of an island-wide network of camera surveillance systems designed to increase the safety of you, our citizens. If you have a camera system outside your home or office facing a public space, log on to jamaicaeye.gov.jm today. Jamaica Eye, we're all connected. The Ministry of National Security, creating a safer and prosperous Jamaica.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, February 20. Government has set aside $100 million to truck water to communities across the island. Minister of Local Government and Community Development, Desmond McKenzie, says the allocation is in anticipation of drought conditions expected to affect the island.
Already the country is experiencing drought conditions. The parishes of Portland and St. Mary is presently going through that phase. The government has been proactive. We have started to look at how we are going to respond to the crisis. And we have been doing so in a number of ways.
The local government minister was speaking at a recent ceremony to break ground for the construction of a water shop in Trial St. Elizabeth. It will be constructed at a cost of $11 million over the next 6 weeks. The water shop project will include the installation of a 30,000-gallon community water tank, which will provide potable water to residents of the area and surrounding communities. St. Elizabeth, Portland, and St. Mary are among the parishes severely affected by the current dry spell. To help local authorities respond, Minister McKenzie says $10 million will be allocated to the St. Elizabeth Municipal Corporation. This is to support the trucking of water, while each councillor will receive 10 500-gallon water tanks for distribution to residents. Come next month, Jamaicans will have access to the TravelPal app to increase the safety of commuters. With the app, commuters will be able to use their mobile devices to scan the registration plates of public passenger vehicles to confirm if they are licensed by the Transport Authority.
By the end of March, we'll be launching the TravelPal, which is a safety and security app for passengers.
Minister Robert Montague made the announcement recently during the official opening ceremony of the Transport Authority's satellite office. The TravelPal app will also allow users to share information on their location when using a public passenger vehicle. It will have a panic feature linked to the Police 119 system. This initiative is part of the ministry's 16-point plan to reform public transportation. $61 million has been allotted by the government to construct 4 classrooms at the Black River High School and purchase 1 new school bus for Richmond Park Primary in the new fiscal year. The funds for these projects have been allocated in the 2020-2021 estimates of expenditure, which is now before the House of Representatives. The items will be provided through partnership between the government and the Embassy of Japan under the Japanese Grant Assistance for Grassroots Human Security Project. Meanwhile, $25.2 million has been budgeted in fiscal year 2020-2021 to complete construction of the Women's Center of Jamaica Foundation's Santa Cruz Outreach Center in St. Elizabeth. The facility will strengthen delivery of the foundation's program for adolescent mothers and expand its activities in the parish. The program enables girls to continue their education during pregnancy and prepares them to be reintegrated into the formal school system after they have given birth. It was initially scheduled to be executed from April 2018 to March 2019, but has been extended to March 2021. In other news, electric mobility will be one of the topics explored at the 4th Energy and Climate Partnership of the Americas (ECPA) ministerial meeting this year. The meeting is scheduled from February 27 to 28 at the Montego Bay Convention Center in St. James. E-mobility refers to vehicles that are powered by an electric motor and primarily get their energy from the power grid, which means they can be recharged externally. The government is developing an electric vehicle policy which will create an enabling environment for the use of technology in the public transportation space. Speaking at a recent Energy Roundtable, Energy and Technology Minister Favor Williams said interest in e-mobility was growing globally, regionally, and locally.
We've noticed across the world that there is an exponential increase in electric vehicles, moving from 3 million in 2017 to 5.3 million in 2018. And it is expected that EV sales will reach 23 million by 2030.
The ECPA ministerial meeting will include the participation of energy ministers from 30 countries, as well as development partners and private sector stakeholders. And finally, Education State Minister Alanda Terrelong is urging more Jamaican youth to pursue foreign languages in order to widen their level of competence and create multiple employment options. Mr. Terrelong says this will contribute to the growth, development, and prosperity of Jamaica.
If we are serious as a nation in ensuring the growth, development, and prosperity of our youth, then it behoves us to ensure that whether it's going to be Spanish, or whether it's going to be French, or whether it's going to be Mandarin, it behoves us as a nation to ensure that every single school offers a core foreign language subject, so that by the time our students get to the university level, they would have already amassed a level of competence that makes them certifiable.
The State Minister was speaking at the 11th staging of the Foreign Languages Conference recently. The annual event seeks to facilitate greater dialogue with international stakeholders in promoting and improving the teaching and learning of foreign languages in Jamaica. And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Let's take a look at some of government's targeted areas for action in the next financial year.
Government says the 2020-2021 financial year will be the start of a decade of growth, underpinned by a robust legislative agenda as well as accelerated investment in infrastructure, renewable energy, skills development, environmental protection, and crime and violence. The agenda was outlined in the throne speech delivered by Governor-General Sir Patrick Allen during the ceremonial opening of Parliament on February 11. With security as a high priority, he said there would be significant capital investment and social intervention to address the scourge of crime. In addition, 3 critical pieces of legislation will be advanced: the Law Enforcement Protection of Integrity Act, Corrections Amendment Act, and the Aliens Act and Immigration Restriction Commonwealth Citizenship Act amendments legislation.
The government maintains that a whole of society approach is required to tackle the issue of crime and violence.
Meanwhile, a new NIDS bill will be tabled, along with amendments to the Registration of Births and Deaths Act.
The government will also complete implementation of the National Key Public Infrastructure Project and advance the digital transformation of the Registrar General's Department.
The Governor-General also announced continued heavy investment under the Greater Infrastructure Development Program,
which includes not just roads, but bridges and structures, street lighting, sidewalks and ramps, traffic lights, water and sewage, fire hydrants and drainage. We will be building smart infrastructure with fiber optics, cameras and sensors designed and embedded into our infrastructure assets.
Water and housing are also priority areas for the new financial year. Interventions will include the provision of water supply solutions to approximately 180,000 rural residents. At the same time, government intends to complete the National Squatter Survey and proceed to the full rollout of its new social housing program.
Housing remains a key priority for the government. In line with Vision 2030, every Jamaican should have access to safe, sustainable, and affordable housing. We need to build enough housing solutions at a rate which will prevent informal settling.
Sir Allen informed that the government would also advance plans for the development of new high schools focused on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics STEM education. And in the area of health, the Andrew Holness administration says this fiscal year will witness the largest spend on health infrastructure in over 3 decades. The Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries is set to execute a number of projects to boost water supply in farming communities. The Governor-General says the projects are part of a wider plan to safeguard the sector during periods of drought. He notes that other work will be done to increase exports of agricultural produce as well as develop new industries.
One of the government's major priorities, which will facilitate growth and increase efficiencies, is the development of a national policy for productivity improvement.
To achieve this, government intends to place greater emphasis on improving the quality of workforces through skills training and the use of technologies. Meanwhile, the Disabilities Act will come into effect in the new fiscal year, creating a fair and equal society for persons with disabilities. And the Disabilities Rights Tribunal will also be established and begin hearings.
An emerging area that the government intends to focus on is electric vehicles. The public passenger fleet will be the first area for attention with the introduction of 45 electric buses. The projected benefits of implementing this initiative is quite significant and include energy saving, environmental preservation, and the reduction of the national fuel bill.
In the areas of justice and local government, the administration is building 3 regional judicial complexes and 1 parish court. The government is also constructing 3 state-of-the-art fire stations and renovating 4.
Our people are deserving of the bountiful reward that will come from all collective efforts at building a stronger and a greater Jamaica.
All these works will be supported by the government's $852.6 billion budget for the 2020-2021 fiscal year. The estimates of expenditure was tabled in the House of Representatives by Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark shortly after the Governor-General's throne speech.
The proposed central government budget continues to prioritize capital expenditure, which has been maintained at 3.3% of GDP, while seeking to enhance social protection and adequately provide other core government services.
Our government has created a set of plans, policies, programs, and legislation which demonstrates its resolve to make this Jamaica's decade of growth, peace, and prosperity as we move forward to fulfill Vision 2020.
Government continues to invest in the development of sport through partnerships. This has resulted in exchange programs for athletes and coaches in various disciplines. Here are the results so far of the Jamaica-China partnership.
The Jamaica-China Technical Cooperation Program is the largest bilateral sports agreement between the two countries. For each year of the 3-year China-funded program, 138 Jamaican athletes, managers, and coaches from 7 sporting disciplines traveled to China for 2 months of intensive training.
So we have 3 teams in Yunnan province, that's in Kunming. Those are swimming, female basketball, and female volleyball. In Yunnan province, we have synchronized swimming, gymnastics, badminton, and female football.
One of the first stops that we made in China was to the Kunming Physical Training School, where we observed the volleyball, basketball, and swimming teams in training.
They train twice per day, starting at, the day actually starts at 6 when they have breakfast. We arrive at the center by 8:30, where we do a 30-minute warm-up. They hit the pool by 9 o'clock. Training is normally completed by 11 once the sets are completed, and then we return to the hotel. They have lunch. There's a 1.5-hour nap time, and then we come back in the afternoon at 2:30, another half-an-hour session of warm-up, and then we go again at 3 until 5.
They take this training very serious, and we also see they have many improvements during all the training. But for one thing, that's the coach very appreciates that they follow coach instruction, and they try their best to get more improvement.
As you may know, China is ranked amongst the top 5. They have one of the top 5 best volleyball teams in the world. So coming here to train, we're training amongst the greats.
While here, we do a lot of repetition, and it really helps us getting better performance-wise. Where we're weak in terms of our strength, the gym work really helps, and when we go on court, it shows. So able to hit the bar harder, able to jump higher, just perform better.
They're really positive and they're serious with this training, and they like to learn.
The coach, he uses gestures while he speaks to us. So as volleyballers, we understand those gestures, and those who came last year will understand a little of the Chinese, like counting from 1 to 4, we understand that, and other little things.
Shababa means it's a very delicious food from where he comes from, the Yunnan province. And he said that after people eat it, they get very energized. And so we say it because we want to get energized on court so that we can perform our best. We usually say it before, like when we're cheering before our match or when we win a point.
The basketball team was only a few meters away from the volleyball players. The team's training site, Kunming Physical Training School, is a high-altitude training base that pushes the cardiovascular and circulatory systems of athletes to optimal levels.
Breathing, like it's really hard here because of the altitude difference. So, you know, the higher we go, less oxygen there is or air. So when we go on track or even in here, indoors, when we're running, it's really hard to catch our breath or to even breathe normally. Some people, we have, I think, 4 athletes that have asthma, so it's extra hard for them, but they manage. In 2 weeks or 3 weeks, everyone adjusts and we're okay.
And on Monday, we do a little bit of skill training and core exercise after the skill training. The core exercise is abs basically, to improve your strength, jumping, running, all of those aspects. The biggest improvement is the fitness level and the skills. Dribbling the ball, floor spacing, setting pick, setting off the ball screen, and just learning to play as a team.
And there are even more benefits to be derived from the athletes' daily encounter with their Chinese coaches.
They're very disciplined. They teach us life skills about respecting time, all of those things. They're very disciplined, and it's good training, life skills for us.
Wait until you hear about the other athletes we're visiting in the city of Changsha.
Being here has really been an amazing opportunity. Working with the Chinese coaches, they've really been helping us learn new techniques, and it's been really new. Some of their techniques are different, but I realized that they really do help the girls improve.
The girls that I have here is from age 6 to 13. Elisa is my youngest. Her name is Elisa Alexander Black. She came up here, she's very strong, but she gets in stronger. So if you like put her into a present stand, she can stay up into a present stand as long as for 1 minute and go back down, but she's very strong for her age.
Like Elisa, another gymnast that has grown in strength and performance is young Shakoy Bennett, the only male gymnast on the team this year.
I've gotten some skills, some high-level skills that I would need to be able to put in a routine to be able to compete. So yeah, that's, I would say, is one of the biggest achievements I have so far. My objective is to go to the Olympics, possibly the Olympics and the World Champs, possibly medaling.
But training wasn't the only activity on the gymnast's daily agenda. The team also showcased the dynamic dance routines they have been learning. Their performance was well received.
Hi, I'm Kayla, the captain of the female football team here in China. Ni hao. In terms of the training, some of the things that we do here you don't really see in Jamaica, so you pick up a lot of new things that you can bring back home and teach your teammates, your coaches, your friends. Every drill that they do right here, they focus on defending. They put in both attacking and defending. So if you look at them playing right now, how they set out, the coach incorporate all of those stuff in it. In Jamaica, we do drills like this, but you don't really think there are so many drills, but like this one thing until you come here.
This is an awesome initiative, and it can only be better for the nation, for the girls to come to a place like China to enhance their talents. I believe that the girls want to be that next reggae international girl, and so this year it has really pushed the girls to work even harder, and you can see in training where they are constantly reminding each other to stay focused.
So there's only one more team to visit, and this team happens to be the largest group in the delegation. Can you guess what that is? Badminton.
Our delegation consisted of 28 persons, of which 23 junior players, 1 player coach, a liaison officer, and myself, the team manager.
Well, last year we mainly focused on the physical aspect of our body, and this year we mainly focused on the technical aspect and the tactical, which meaning that we focus mostly on the fingers, the arm actions. And in Jamaica we play European style of badminton, while here we play Asian style of badminton.
Biggest thing that surprised me was probably their playing style. When I was in Jamaica, we're taught to use the wrist more,
and then now we're taught to use the fingers to play. And it has really helped in my game, play much easier and more comfortable now.
It would be remiss of me not to extend on behalf of the government and people of Jamaica, and especially on behalf of my minister, the Honorable Olivia Grange, the appreciation or gratitude to the government and people of the People's Republic of China for this wonderful program.
With so many distractions around to deter our students from focusing on their studies, Prime Minister Andrew Holness had a one-on-one session to reinforce the importance.
The first step of wanting to get empowerment and be empowered is you must never be satisfied with the way you are. You must always be seeking to improve. So you must always be seeking more, seeking better, because you can always do better. You can always improve. And I believe that sometimes in our society, we don't always encourage people to improve. Even in our household, we tend to say, well, you're just like your daddy, meaning to say you're not going to be better than what your father or parent has achieved. You go on like you're better than people, meaning to say that we must all stay at the lower stage and not seek to improve ourselves. In fact, you know, there is this thing in our culture that makes it appear as if someone is trying to improve themselves, they are doing something bad. That is true, right? When what we should be doing is to applaud people who work hard and achieve, right? Yes, that's what we should do. But somehow in our culture, we have turned it upside down. And it is very pervasive in the classroom because you see what happens is it provides cover for people who are lazy and people who don't want to change and people who are set on a pathway to failure. So they don't want anyone doing better than the average because then they will have to put out a little bit more effort. Now, if that is allowed to be the common standard in the society, then our society will never improve. So, one of the things I want to give you today is that you must never be ashamed of success. And you must always seek to be the best at what you do, to be excellent.
As we celebrate Jamaica Day tomorrow, let us collectively pledge the love and loyalty of our hearts, work diligently and creatively to build a better and safer Jamaica, to live, work, raise families, and do business. Join us again tomorrow when we bring you another informative program. In the meantime, stay connected via our website, jis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to JamaicaMagazine@jis.gov.jm or via tweet @JIS News. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
Hey guys, I'm Candy and welcome to Chill Spot, Jamaica's ultimate leisure show. This season promises to reveal some of the hidden treasures of the lifestyle industry by taking you to the chill spots of some of Jamaica's most brilliant business minds, giving you a glimpse into how they choose to unwind and just pull a vibe. You won't want to miss what happens next. Stay tuned.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Business Access. Use access.
Business Access TV.
Serious.
Serious.
Serious about business.
Business Access TV welcomes you to the Courtly Hotel in New Kingston, Jamaica for the Technological Solutions Limited cocktail reception, as well as the opening of their SQF training. I am Tamar McHale. Stay tuned for the highlights.
A very, very warm welcome to you all. I am Earl Patrick. I'm the acting board chairman of Technological Solutions Limited. And my task this evening is to guide you through this evening's proceedings. We have representatives in our audience from various countries in the region: Barbados, Suriname, Trinidad, United States, can't think of any other, but what it does, it represents who we are, a company that transcends Jamaica and tries to spread its wings throughout the region, selling quality and selling good standards for consumers around the region and the world. Before we go any further, I think what we are doing here this week is a absolutely fantastic thing with the seminar, the series of seminars we're running to ensure that companies in the region, including Jamaica, get themselves into world quality, world standards to ensure we can meet the stringent requirements of consumers around the world for Jamaican products.
Thank you all for coming to this important event. We're also celebrating, Global Standards Day, and what better way to do that at the start of a training session that we're doing this week on a global standard. So in this case, a global standard for food safety called SQF. And as a senior technical representative to them, that's my job this week. And I see a number of my participants here today. I told them they couldn't come here and, boo-hoo me and tell me that I'm not a lousy trainer or anything like that. So you can't do that. Not yet. Not until at the end, because remember, I still have to mark your exams and stuff. So I still have that over you. No, we're good. We're good. So what we're doing this week is training people on the SQF code of food safety. What it's all about in terms of both understanding and implementing it, but most important, what it's like to learn to audit it, to become an auditor towards that. Because what SQF is a what we call a certified program owner. We are a standards owner. We don't certify, but we develop the standards which are benchmarked against the Global Food Safety Initiative, so that becomes the global part. So that's, from the food safety perspective, that's a very distinct and small world, but one that subscribes to accredited independent third-party audits that allow for the certification of products right from the gate to the plate, the farm to the fork, as they say. That allows for then buyers worldwide to be able to buy and move product globally with the assurance that from a food safety perspective, those products are safe and that they meet regulation in both the country of origin and the country of destination. And that's a very important part in terms of trade. And so SQF is very pleased to have entered into a licensing agreement with TSL, relatively new. TSL will be the first Caribbean-based licensed training center for SQF. We have over 32 that are based around the world. We are the #1 food safety management system certification standard in North America. And as such, we really see that the Caribbean and other types of markets that TSL serves as an extension of that, and obviously important to ensure that the SQF brand, the auditors, the certification bodies that are providing the audit, because we don't provide the certification. That'll be TSL's job. What we're doing this week is making sure that there is a resource pool of auditors. This is the first step for them for becoming registered SQF auditors. It's not easy. They have to have years of experience, audit experience, to be able to audit against that code, so that when the certification is given, now that certification and certificate, it's a public entity. It's on the SQF website. It'll be a certificate with the SQF brand, with the TSL brand, with the brand of the accreditation body that will be looking on oversight in TSL. And that provides assurance in the marketplace to the brand owners globally that those sites have earned it, and that on an annual basis they will have to maintain it and earn that certificate to keep that certificate that TSL will be in charge of distributing, and also pulling it and suspending, withdrawing it if those sites don't maintain it. So there's a lot of credibility around that, around accredited third-party audits that SQF participates in, which does support obviously the Global Standards Day and the use of global standards and trade, and what that can do with the assurances that food safety, as consumers, we all expect that. We go to the marketplace, we go to the restaurant, we go to the retail when we're buying that product, whether it's here in the Caribbean and Jamaica or it's in North America, and it's product coming from Jamaica, we're expecting that to be safe. And so this training is about learning how to audit. I'm not here to teach them about HACCP or food safety. They're supposed to already know that. Right? But I am teaching them how to interpret that, how to look for those risks and hazards, how to write a audit report that then can be shared with their buyers, and a certificate that's earned and maintained, and ensuring that for that site and what they make, they understand food safety, they understand the risks and hazards, they're managing it. It doesn't mean it's going to be perfect, because food safety is never 100%, but they're staying up to date, they're staying current. They're learning the technologies that change. The auditors are learning that and applying that, and challenge those sites to say, show me that you know what the SQF code and the good food safety practices that are expected globally are being done here, so that your buyers can do that too. So very pleased to be here to continue to build that resource pool in the Caribbean, in North America, so that they can be available to TSL and their certification body to then provide that service in the Caribbean and beyond, and ensure that those products that are being exported and consumed locally are safe products. So thank you very much for your time, and pleasure to be here for the week.
So I was looking at your profile earlier, and you have quite a wealth of experience. I understand over 30 years in the industry. Tell us about your experience. I understood that you started out at Kellogg's.
I did, yeah. So, graduating in chemistry, and then got a job right directly in the food business. I don't think that was my intent, but it's where I landed. And so, learning a lot with Kellogg's on food safety and quality solutions. So, transitioned from there primarily into the service area of that, and primarily in the auditing, consulting, and training element. Again, servicing food and beverage industry, primarily in Canada at the time, but then going into the U.S. and down into the Caribbean, where I had first met Dr. Gordon with TSL.
Okay, great. So you are here in Jamaica, as you mentioned, in terms of what you're doing. What are some of the courses that you'll be offering? Yeah,
primarily as the SQF representative, we offer the SQF lead auditor training, and so that creates the opportunity and the resources for auditors in the region that can audit against SQF and be possibly employed or contracted by Dr. Gordon through his organization, TSL Certification Services, which is now the first Caribbean-based licensed certification body for SQF.
How critical is it for companies in the manufacturing sector to be certified and have the relevant, training?
Well, it's, so for the sites themselves and at the training program, we have both, individuals that are looking to be lead auditors and SQF auditors, but we also have a lot from industry that are learning about the SQF code and the importance of implementing, and more importantly, the importance of controlling their food safety aspects, because it can be, if not done properly, a big risk to their businesses, and it is a barrier, sometimes a barrier of entry into other markets and foreign markets, and the U.S. being a large market for that, the SQF certification does create an opportunity for getting into those new markets.
I'm now with Lanelle Black, and she is the Quality Assurance Manager for the East Caribbean Group of Companies. Tell us a bit about your company, Ms. Black.
Well, our company is located in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We manufacture flour, feeds, rice, carbonated soft drink under the brand Juicy. We have one energy drink by the name of Village Ram, and also one bottled water under the brand of Island Sips.
Interesting name, Village Ram. How did you come up with that name?
Well, it's not me. I did not come up with the name, but because of its content, I believe it has yohimbe extract, yohimbe, honey, goatweed, and some other aphrodisiac, which is known to help with, impotence and other things like that.
I'm sure that's a bestseller.
Oh, yes, it is.
Okay, so tell us how Technological Solutions Limited has helped your company.
Well, we are pursuing certification in SQF intermediate level at this moment, and we also want to implement our HACCP principles. So we have engaged the service of Dr. Gordon, and he has been helping us along the way to gain our certification. We are about the middle of the process, so very soon we will be complete and be audited, and hopefully we'll be certified.
Okay, and how has the training so far been for you?
The training is very good. We don't have that training at home because, as Dr. God indicated, it's the first in the Caribbean. Food safety is not really a big thing at home either. There would be a few companies who have it, the certification, but not as much as we would expect. So it is very good, to be honest, very educational. The knowledge we gain here definitely would go a far way back home, because I don't think we have any SQF auditors on the island as such. So it would be a great asset to our company and to the country as a whole.
Great design is not only how things look, but also how well they work. The GLC, more than meets the eye.
Hi, this is Angeli Martin Spencer, Principal and Interior Decorator of ASH, Angeli Spencer Home, and you're watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The Honorable Audley Shaw, the indefatigable Minister of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries and Investment, our Minister. And Dr. Andre Gordon, CFS, Chairman and CEO of TSL. Mr. Frank Scher, who I've just met, who is a Safe Quality Food Institute Senior Representative we have here today. Distinguished guests from far and wide, welcome to Jamaica. We're really glad to have you with us. And I'm really happy to be able to celebrate with you the World Standards Day with Technological Solutions Limited. I'm particularly honored to be invited to be present here today because of JAMPRO's advocacy role in establishing standards for Jamaican products, and also to celebrate TSL's role in creating a real opportunity for Jamaican products to attain market access in the most demanding markets around the world, and they absolutely have been a tower of strength in doing that. I also am here partly because of my admiration for one Dr. Andre Gordon, who I know likes to remain in the background, but has been such a tremendous advocate for quality in Jamaica and for quality standards. Without Dr. Gordon, most Jamaican products would not be in the international market today. He has done some pioneering work on getting ackee into the US market against real stiff odds at a time when ackee was considered to be a poisonous fruit that those strange people in the Caribbean eat. I know he has done tremendous work with that. So TSL really is synonymous with standards. And the fact that they have just forged this partnership with SQFI to be their licensing arm in the Caribbean, I think deserves a huge round of applause and big up to Dr. Gordon. We also welcome the staging of the 2 training sessions that you're going to be present at during this week, because I think it's really critical in terms of the increasing demands of quality standards in the international market, that all our products from the so-called developing world really attain high standards. You know, Jamaica is a producer of high-quality, world-class niche products. When you pick up a bag or a sack or a box of Jamaica Blue Mountain coffee, you know what you're getting. When you open a can of ackee, you know what you're getting. When you sample and sip and hopefully savor and not overdrink from the well of the Jamaica rum, Appleton Estate, and we now have other rival rums on the market, you know that you are getting products of true quality. And I think that's really the embodiment of what we're celebrating here today. Each year, as you know, the members of the International Electrotechnical Commission, the International Organization for Standardization, better known as ISO, and the International Telecommunications Unit celebrate today, the 14th of October, as the day in which we recognize the importance of standards in our lives. Standards are critical. As someone like me who has lived for a long time in the metropolitan markets and who has seen the havoc wrought by E. coli, Listeria, Salmonella, and other food viruses, foodborne viruses, we really have to be grateful to companies like TSL because they have kept us safe from some of those foodborne diseases. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention in the US estimates that each year 1 in 6 Americans, that's 48 million people, get sick from foodborne diseases, and 3,000 of them die of foodborne diseases. So I think that's just a couple of statistics to show you the importance of standards and how important it is that we all understand and apply those standards. So as a government of Jamaica's investment and export promotion agency, that's what JAMPRO is, and the leading marketing agency of Jamaica's business mandate, JAMPRO really just wants to take this opportunity to support TSL in its endeavors in developing its mandate to ensure that clients in agriculture, agro-processing, food service, hospitality, exporting, manufacturing, and distribution industries meet the demanding consumer requirements in global markets. This is absolutely critical for us to move forward. TSL has been a stalwart partner with JAMPRO in co-hosting a number of workshops on market access requirements and disseminating the understanding of quality and of quality standards that we need if we are going to really take our rightful place on the international market in the field of exports. So TSL, I would say, is a pioneer in making standards matter, and standards absolutely do matter. They're what keeps us safe. So thanks very much for listening, and have a wonderful week learning all you can about standards from Mr. Schurz.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this our cocktail reception in honor of World Standards Day and this pioneering workshop, which marks the second collaboration on a workshop that we have had with the SQF Institute. Minister, thank you so much for agreeing to be with us. Other members of the head table, Diane, thank you for your very kind words. Frank, you were brief and to the point, really appreciate it. And the Master of Ceremonies wants to make sure we can hear what the minister has to say quickly, so I won't detain you too much further. I do want to recognize some important partners that are here with us and whose presence we appreciate. I've seen Ms. Sharon May Shirley, the head of JANAC, come in. NCBJ is also represented here. Thank you. Dr. Greg Robin, who is the head of CARDI. I don't know why nobody is sitting beside Greg. Why have you sitting by yourself? Who is the head of the Caribbean Agricultural Research and Development Institute in Jamaica and also responsible for research across the Caribbean, is here. Last year we partnered quite significantly with CARDI on a coconut project. And partnerships are at the heart of what we do. So it's really warming for my heart to see so many persons from the standards sector here. We regard TSL as a family. We do have a family approach, and we want our clients as well and the persons who are attending to get that feeling. You know, it has been a great coup for us to have Mr. Schroers, or Frank as I call him, who is not just a presenter. Frank is one of the top people in SQF. He's one of the drivers of the standard. For a Canadian, he's extremely modest. I don't know how that works because I don't know too many modest Canadians.
You never see me in a corner.
But he's extremely modest. He was involved in the issue number 8.1, and is already working on issue 9 for the SQF standard that is going to be coming out. So we are really pleased to have this partnership with SQF International, both on training and as their first certification body in this part of the Americas. 2 months ago, we were also thrilled to partner with bioMérieux out of France to bring cutting-edge technology to Jamaica in the form of a polymerase chain reaction technology. And you will hear about more of these partnerships as we extend the kind of product and service offerings that we want the entire productive sector in the Caribbean to be able to access. We are committed at TSL to the making standards live for us in driving the productive sector in the Caribbean forward in being competitive in our own markets and in the global markets in which we intend to participate. You know, as part of this, one of the things we've done is document our experience with the agreement of several of our customers, and this represents another partnership. And I just advised President of JAMPRO and Minister will be making a gift to them of our first book, which captures what Diane spoke about, the whole story, the approach in which we partnered with the Bureau of Standards and several other government and private entities to get ACCIs back into the US market. On the next book that we have coming out, I'm pleased to say that Rick, Helen, and other team members, Rochelle, where's Rochelle, from TSL, have partnered on the writing of that book, as well as our colleagues from US, from the Food and Drug Administration, from Sweden, and many other countries. Partnerships are the heart of what we do. And over the years, we've worked quite closely with the standards sector as we mark World Standards Day to train persons in the bureaus of standards throughout the region. We were instrumental in helping many of the small bureaus of standards get set up. We worked closely with the Bureau of Standards in Suriname, literally throughout the entire Caribbean. So we see it as an apt and fitting coincidence that this workshop is being opened on World Standards Day, as the president of JAMPRO has mentioned. You know, as some of you may be aware, TSL is in an expansion mode. And later on this year, Minister, you may be interested. Later on this year, you will hear other things. We have other partnerships, but early in the new year, TSL will avail itself of that opportunity that you, as Minister, fought so hard to retain, and that is access to the Jamaica Junior Stock Exchange. Minister, that is probably the one of the most significant contributions that they will remember Audley Shaw for as Minister of Finance. Many people do not understand how important it is for companies that have existed for a while to be able to access capital to grow.
Cash flow and budgeting analysis. A business can be profitable and still run into trouble due to cash flow issues. We can forecast and evaluate your company's financial condition, estimate financing requirements, and track cash flow sources and uses. For more information and to discuss your requirements with one of our experts, please contact us today. Email info@dodgen.global. Website https://dodgen.global.
This week on Home Sweet Home, we go around Jamaica to visit a few of our most historical homes, each with their own little story. Our first stop, let's find out.
The Good Life, your weekly dose of information on nutrition, wellness, and fitness. Discover ways to nurture your mind, body, and spirit.
I'm Adam Stewart. This is Business Access TV, serious about business.
The global economy, of course, is standards driven. And we've got to get on that bandwagon. And that's what you have been leading with. Our ascension in the global marketplace must be driven by standards, quality. And standards must become the norm for us and the center of every transaction, local and global. So in this global economy, the acceptance of our goods and services depend on an infrastructure that is built on internationally recognized standards and an accreditation-based conformity assessment system that satisfies international requirements. So I want to take the opportunity to applaud Dr. Gordon and his team on the tremendous work that you have been doing in transforming organizations and companies to deal with the practical realities of competing and exporting in a globalized business environment. I want to commend you also on the pivotal role you have been playing over the years in providing a comprehensive range of technical services to support the productive sector in Jamaica and in the region. The consumer goods industry has been undergoing significant transformation. Changes in consumer behavior, the availability of new technologies, shifts in buying power are all combined reshaping the industry's supply chain. At the same time, manufacturers and retailers are being challenged to redefine the way they operate and collaborate with each other, as well as with their trading partners. This means that standards must be embedded into new process areas to meet consumer and industry expectations. Locally, Jamaica's growth strategy is premised on export-led growth. We were there before, we have to go back there, right? And we've got to get to serious export growth, and a part of that is the export of food, not just fresh, but processed. So it's an opportunity for us to move. You know, it is, so my mother used to tell me that in every crisis and in every adversity, there's a seed of greater benefit. Our adversity has been some of what I described to you before, and then the decline in traditional industries like sugar. But guess what? The seeds of opportunities are there. We are importing soursop puree and mango puree. I make soursop juice and mango juice. And you go in the supermarket and buy it. And we are stressed out with idle hands and idle hands in Jamaica. That makes sense? And then we have to just hold on to the promise of sugarcane and say, Lord, 200 years ago we had it, make we can't have it again. Right? We have to move on. We're not saying we're abandoning sugar, but we are now in the midst of a major rationalization program to plant other things, yes, including mango orchards. And yes, we've started exporting mangoes back to the United States again. In June of this year, we started. In June of this year. After a 20-year break. And let me tell you something, they've never had hands to sell the mangoes in the United States. Julie, East Indian mangoes is what we sent in. And there's so many other things that we can do and we will have to do. And the good news, folks, is that we have no shortage of interest among investors to go the path of agriculture and agro-processing. And so we've heard of Gassanasan recently, over 400 acres to be developed on the Bernard Large estate. And by the way, most of it will remain in agriculture and will be involved in a mother-farm relationship, working with small farmers as well, with guarantee that what they produce, helping them with technology to maximize their production, guaranteeing that when they produce, they will have a sale for it. And the agro-industrial sector and the agro-processing sector is gearing up. Grace Kennedy is building a facility at Denby. They are already at Hounslow in St. Elizabeth. National Meats, the old National Meats, now Lidford Logistics, Richard Lake, is not just selling fresh, but going to process and target the export markets. Jam processors in Williamsfield in Manchester, they export about 6 containers of yellow yams per week right now to the United States and England. They want to start food processing as well. Even traditional importers like Rainforest and CPJ, they want to get into the value-added chain as well. And with all of this, the technology that is afforded with this company will all be relevant in the aggressive build-out of the agro-processing sector.
So I'm here with Minister Audley Shaw, and he's of course the Minister of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries. And it's a pleasure to have you here with us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, so Technological Solutions Limited, they are celebrating 23 years this year. What do you make of this achievement, especially in this manufacturing sector, and what they have done for the manufacturing sector?
Well, I think it's really significant what they have done, because we have no hope to penetrate the international markets on a sustainable basis and expand that penetration without stepping up to global levels of technology. And that's what TSL is doing. So they are guiding our companies that, listen, you have to have standards down here, and you have to have those standards at international levels. And so I really want to congratulate them on this pursuit of such an important area, because technology is one of the drivers of global wealth creation and mass production. So I'm very happy for the company, and my hope is that they'll grow from strength to strength, not just in Jamaica, but for the entire Caribbean region.
And we see a number of companies over the years that have struggled to, get their products onto the global market. They have helped companies to do that. What advice would you give to companies who want to venture into this arena in terms of the standards that they require?
My advice to the companies is, once you're targeting the export markets, don't even think about it. You put a plan in your business plan. You must have a segment to engage a company like Dr. Gordon's company, so that you are putting up in place a platform that guarantees success in international market penetration. And then accompanying the technology solutions that he provides is you now have the opportunity through the Junior Stock Exchange to raise money at reasonable interest rates and on an equity basis. And in some cases, it's not just the stock exchange, but we now have banks that are lending money at 5 and 6% interest rates, single digits. And so get formal, get transparent, access low-cost money, and importantly, access technology for market penetration.
Awesome. My last question to you, Minister Shaw. At the end of the day, persons want to excel on the global stage in terms of their businesses, in terms of manufacturing. But at the end of the day, we just mentioned in terms of the obstacles that companies face and how companies like TSL help them to overcome it. But what last advice would you give to companies who are struggling to just make it, in Jamaica?
My advice to them would be, don't suffer in silence. As Minister of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries, the merging of these ministries of industry and agriculture, which was the brainchild of our Prime Minister, right? It's still a work in progress. But what I want to say to entrepreneurs who want to excel in their business enterprises, whether on the local or the international market, if you're bucking up with bureaucratic humbug and obstacles, find a straight path to my office, right? And we're going to get rid of the bureaucracy, because we have got to make it easier to do business in Jamaica and easier to penetrate the markets of the world.
Life, your weekly dose of information on nutrition, wellness, and fitness. Discover ways to nurture your mind, body, and spirit.
I started out selling out of the trunk of my car. If everybody think the same way, everybody going in the same line.
Being an entrepreneur takes everything that you've got. Weekends? What's weekends? We work on a weekend.
There are real opportunities everywhere you look.
But you have to have the passion.
If I do my part well, then everything is okay.
We believed in ourselves and our families believed in us.
Being convinced of this great opportunity, why we are all here doing what we're doing now.
I'm now joined by Dr. Andre Gordon, CEO, Technological Solutions Limited. He's the man in charge. Good to have you.
Thank you so much for having us and for having BATV here.
And congratulations on all your achievement. I understand it's 23 years. Tell us about that journey.
23 years has been an interesting journey. TSL was set up to help drive the competitiveness of the productive sector in Jamaica and the Caribbean. So that's the heart of what we do. We say we are science-driven, customer-focused, and excellence-driven. So basically what we do is whether it's manufacturing, exports, agriculture, food service, hospitality, or importing and distribution, we help them apply science, knowledge, and technology to make their businesses competitive. We demystify science and translate it into practical, implementable programs and training and develop products for all of these sectors and help them get their products into the markets that they want to get them into.
Awesome. We heard throughout the presentation, you being lauded, your company being lauded for bringing back Aki into the United States. What sort of cutting-edge technology does TSL have?
Well, we have over the years prided ourselves on having colleagues around the world who are regarded as experts in their area. We ourselves have some people who are regarded as experts in our area. So what we try to do is we've used electron microscopy, predictive modeling, thermal processing. We do accelerated shelf life. We help companies verify or prove that their existing traditional processes meet the requirements of importing markets. Most recently, we brought what is called polymerase chain reaction, PCR, DNA-based technology in to reduce the analytical time for tests that are done down from like 10 days to 1 day. And so we are rolling out this technology that we will use to service a range of different sectors of the industry so that we will be able to provide companies here with the same kind of analytical service that they would get if they were in New York or Canada or anywhere. So those are just some of the technologies, but most of our technology is knowledge-based. What we try to do is understand their requirements, understand the requirements of the specific market they're going in, and work out a program as to how do we help them get in that market with products that they can get a premium price for. And that's what we work at doing in Jamaica and throughout the entire Caribbean.
Awesome. In addition to today's cocktail reception in observance of World Standards Day, I understand that there is a training as well.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about that training which is happening.
Okay, so we, amongst many of the things we do, we pioneered the concept of food safety and quality systems in the Caribbean, working with another partner, Caribbean Export, in 1997. And then after that, we applied that to getting Aki's back into the US market, getting Jamaica's conch back into the EU market, and a range of other things. This latest partnership is with the Safe Quality Foods Institute that's based in the US. It's owned by the Food Marketing Institute. And what they do is they have a standard that guarantees that once people get certified to that standard, all of the food, agricultural produce, distribution systems will comply with the highest levels of quality and safety. So this particular training program is having persons who wish to be able to implement and audit to that standard become trained and certified so that our certification body, TSL Certification Services International, will be able to have auditors of the highest level of competence, in addition to the ones that we also have that come from overseas. We want auditors from the region who understand our culture so they can interpret the international standards in a culturally sensitive context and help our companies comply.
Awesome. Wonderful work. My last question for you. I understand recently you received one of the Jamaica Manufacturers Exporters Association awards.
Yes.
What was that award for? Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. We actually received 2 awards.
Okay.
We received an award as the champion exporter because amongst many other things, we've been growing our export. TSL is a service exporter. We have been exporting our services for over 20 years. We started in 96 and we started exporting in 97, our services. So we are one of the largest service exporters in our category. So we won the Service Exporter Award. More importantly, we won the Best Support Service Award, which is named after Pauline Gray, who is one of our founding directors, the former executive director of the Jamaica Exporters Association. And that award says that we are the best support service provider to the manufacturing and export sector for 2018. And it's an award we've won before, but this time was special because this award was named after one of our directors. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Gordon. Congratulations and all the best.
Thank you very much. And I'm really happy that BATV, that we've had BATV come for this. I watch BATV. Excellent, excellent programming and channel.
I'm now joined by Charles Barrett, Regional Marketing Manager for Jamaican Teas. Good to have you here with us at Business Access TV.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so tell us about how Technological Solutions Limited has helped your company.
Well, Technological Solutions has been a very important partner for us at Jamaican Teas. As you know, we produce Caribbean Dreams branded tea bags and Tetley teas for the entire region and indeed North America, the United Kingdom, and of course the entire Caribbean. And in order for us to do that, we have to uphold a number of standards. Technological Solutions has been an important partner in helping us to become HACCP certified, which is Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Points, which is a food safety-based system. And also they are working with us in also getting into safe quality food certification. Without them, 26% of our export revenues, which is represented by the US market, would not exist, because you cannot export to the US as it is today without some kind of third-party certification in food safety. And Technological Solution has helped us to maintain that market and in terms of our access to it. Without that, then that would be a big blow for us as a country, as a company. And as you know, they say export or die. At Jamaican Teas, that's what we live by, because we're a net export company. Over 50% of our revenues is exports. So we generally have to do what we're doing by global standards, have these third-party certifications, and even the testing that goes along to verify and to guarantee that the processes that we have in-house actually work. Then Technological Solutions play an important role. So we are very happy to be here and support them today. We're also a part of the training that's going on for SQF, and we just want to say congratulations to SQF and the team. They're doing a very fantastic job.
Okay, great. My final question to you, you just listed the benefits of how Technological Solutions and having the requisite standards has helped your company. How critical, what's your advice that you would give to other budding, entrepreneurs or other companies out there that, they need to have the requisite standards and qualification, especially in the food safety sector?
Well, the fact is, we're not, we're an island, but we can't stand alone. And for us to survive as a country, the minister said it, we have to look outward and to go back to the days when export was a big part of Jamaica's economy. For us to be able to be successful and competitive at that, and for industries and organizations to grow, then there must be standards. In whatever industry you're in, there must be standards. And so for young entrepreneurs or other entrepreneurs, even those in the packaging industry, I find that's something that we don't pay much attention to. But more and more, those companies in Jamaica that provide packaging that goes close to the food and so forth, they think of themselves as not being a part of this whole chain of standards, particularly when it comes to guaranteeing safe food. They too have to see the importance. Anything you're doing, there are standards. And not because we at home and at yard say a so it go, no. We all operate in this global village. And whatever good here so or good over there, it must be one thing, and we must all work together at it. And that is why standards are important. So nobody run on your own, but seek the partnership where you can get it.
And so tell us about your partnership with TSL.
Okay, we have partnered with them over a 2-year period. And what they have helped us to do is grown exponentially in producing safe quality food to meet the export market. Since then, we have been audited by FDA and we have not violated any regulation. Yes, our staff have been mentored from ground up, from top down, and right across the board. So we have partnered with them and we're looking forward now in becoming HACCP certified, which is another main, that is our core objective with Technological Solution. Because when we're HACCP certified, it means big things for Virginia there. We can now export our product straight to the US and we know that the quality is of such, is of high standard. And persons buying from our company, meaning all the other lucrative business and big businesses buying from Virginia Dairy, meaning that they can rest assured that the quality is of a high standard. So in this month, we'll be doing our preliminary exercise with the STSL, and going forward, we're getting by November of this year, we should and shall be and will become HACCP certified. And Virginia Dairy Jamaica Limited is known in the business world as a flavor industry, and we have brought on our flagship product in recent, where we do fragrances that deals with take care of persons who work in the fabric softener, dishwashing liquid, car fragrances, etc. And then we have our cordials, which is one of our baby, and we pride that. Why we pride that is because the sorrel that is now in Jamaica is a booming thing, and Virginia Dairy was there from the start, where we basically harvest the sorrel from our farmers and sell it back to the big companies, and they bring it to another consumable portion. And we are pride ourselves in that area, and now to know that we can now just sell this product from just Jamaica to anywhere in the island, anywhere in the Caribbean, anywhere in the world, because we're HACCP certified. We can't wait for that day.
Amazing.
And we're so happy to be partnered with Dr. Garden, TSL family, and we are here to support them and this monumental achievement for them.
Congratulations, a passionate Nicole Gracie Mondo, Operations Manager for Virginia Dairy Jamaica Limited. Thanks for tuning into Business Access TV's coverage of the cocktail reception of Technological Solutions Limited, as well as the opening of their SQF training. I'm Tamara McHale for Business Access TV, serious about business.
Started out selling out of the trunk of my car. If everybody think the same way, everybody going in the same line.
Being an entrepreneur takes everything that you've got. Weekends? What's weekends? We work on a weekend.
There are real opportunities everywhere you look.
But you have to have the passion.
If I do my part well, then everything is okay.
We believed in ourselves and our families believed in us.
Being convinced of this great opportunity, why we are all here doing what we're doing now.
I do have a dream, and I know you have a dream, that we can make Jamaica the place of choice for you to choose to live, to work, to do business.
We are going for the Jamaica we want. Making steady progress to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals in our National Development Plan, Vision 2030 Jamaica. We have teamed up with valued partners, working through strong institutions to reduce inequalities in our society. We commit to being responsible in our production and consumption, ensuring we build sustainable communities in harmony with nature. Jamaica is making significant strides in providing quality, lifelong education for all, enabling our people to be engaged in decent work to drive economic growth, equipping men and women with the skills to build resilient infrastructure, promote sustainable industry, foster innovation, and utilize new technologies. Urgent action is being taken to manage natural resources responsibly, protecting clean water sources, ensuring access to water and sanitation for all, diversifying to alternative energy sources, conserving our environment and sustaining life below water and on land. Jamaica is making moves to ensure healthy lifestyles for the well-being of our people. We're promoting sustainable agriculture to achieve food security, improve nutrition, and end extreme hunger, putting in the work to end poverty in all its forms. We're on track in achieving our sustainable development goals through realizing our Vision 2030 Jamaica. We will leave no one behind.
And I'm chilling right now because we're winning right now.
Creating change, building a future, caring hands, giving back, touching hearts, and shaping lives. Impacting our world for the better.
Grown from 20 million US to now having 800 million US dollars.
Knowledge, skill, and professionalism. Those are my tools and my armor.
It's a big men don't cry, right? It's a big men don't cry, right?
We were being robbed some $531,000.
I've been angry to the point where I feel like I would get a vehicle.
Life, your weekly dose of information on nutrition, wellness, and fitness. Discover ways to nurture your mind, body, and spirit.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange wishes to help to develop the social sector. To that end, they have formed the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange, which is a safe, efficient, and transparent platform that aims to promote social projects that build Jamaica and will inure to the benefit of all persons living in the country.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange is a company that encourages and mobilizes capital for the main market, and that is the market that is not the social sector. Now, the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange is really geared towards the social sector to help to solve social problems in the field of health, education, about children, environment. Those are some of the things that we consider social problems. And so it is to mobilize the capital, allow persons who have a desire to invest in a social good, to invest in the social stock exchange. It is designed in two parts. In phase one, where we look at social investment, and phase two, where we look at social impact investment. Now, in phase one, really what we are saying is it is donation. An organization will have a social issue and design it into a project or a program and invite Jamaicans or persons within the diaspora or the entire world to fund this program. Now in phase two, you're going to get a return on investment which is not social. You will be getting shares, natural shares, as you would get if you invested in the Jamaica Stock Exchange. And what you'll get is a return on capital, which is possibly dividend or an appreciation in that share. The Jamaica Social Stock Exchange does more than ask for the funding of these programs, but goes beyond that in terms of monitoring, ensuring that these programs are meeting the targets and the reason for them to have asked for funding in the first place. when we look at this new sector, it is important because holistically, if you do not look on the social sector, you do not improve the other sectors. We want to encourage all businesses in Jamaica to have a corporate social responsibility because it is good for encouraging and the growth and development of businesses.
On Point is brought to you by Dargin Global.
A very good evening and welcome to On Point. My name is Patria K. Charles.
And I'm Dennis Chung.
And we've got lots to talk about. You missed me last week?
Of course, of course. Very much. Very much. Last week.
I like it. Oh my God, it's been a busy week though. Lots been going on. Lots going on at NSWMA.
Yeah, in the past 2 weeks I've received 2 persons saying to me that they've received notices for removal of rubble and trash from their gates.
Yes.
And it's a drive that NSWMA is on. We want to bring public order to the streets, so we've been using the Anti-Litter Act and we've been going out looking to see if people have things piled up at their gates, and we issue notices to them to remove it. And if you don't remove it within 2 weeks, we're going to carry it before the court, you know, and fine you. What we have found in those 2 cases, that first case, it was JPS who cut a tree and left it at the person's gate. And the second case was NWA doing some road work and left it. But you are responsible for what is at your gate, and that's the route that we're taking.
And so the person who the rubble at your gate is not your own. What's the recourse for them?
They need to make sure that people don't leave it there, because for us, we are just trying to maintain order, public order, and we're going to be going out there and finding people if necessary.
I'm going to push back at one of those state agencies, especially that you mentioned, which is the NWA, because they are habitual for not leaving somewhere the way they found it. Habitual for going in, doing road works and leaving rubble on the side of the road. And with your drive, you're doing your work as an SWMA, you're doing your work. And I see where there can be complications looking down the line of people having to take responsibility for issues that are not necessarily their own. So we need to talk to each other.
Yes, I agree. But you know, we have to do what we need to do under the law.
Yeah.
You know, we're just going to push forward with it.
Fair enough. Valentine's Day just gone. Let's talk a little bit about the business of Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
More commercial, less love?
You know, not necessarily. I think that it's very commercial, but people still do celebrate it for the right reasons, you know. It's just like Christmas.
And it's interesting that you go there, because for a lot of business places outside of Christmas Day, Valentine's Day is their number one sales day. You're talking about not just flower shops, but if you think through gastronomy and all of the restaurants, outside of the festive season, if they're going to think about one day where they make their money, it's Valentine's Day.
Yeah, and the truth is that maybe the fact that they hype it so much commercially even might bring some people together to have a little dinner where they don't have before.
A couple other things happened. You're telling me about a story that you heard about.
Yeah, about this man who molested a 6-year-old, and it turned out that he was jailed before for about 3 years as a sex offender, and the conversation has come up now I mean, he's in the community and people don't know. Should we be publicizing and make public the sex offenders registry, which I believe we strongly should be doing that, because we need to protect people out there. People need to know who is living in their communities.
I believe in publicizing the list as well. I mean, for me, there are some crimes that are just reprehensible, and that for me is one. The argument for those who are against publishing that list is a conversation around reformation, a conversation about whether or not these people who have gone to prison and served their time deserve to be productive members of society, and the shame and stigma that come with having your name associated.
Well, then don't do the thing in the first place.
Absolutely, because even when you go to prison, that is one of those crimes where prisoners within the system have no mercy on you. If you come in and you're coming in for rape and especially child molestation, they have no mercy on you within the prison system, the actual inmates. Man who's been convicted of a crime, look at that crime as the worst possible crime.
And the way I look at it is not publishing the registry, you are putting other children at risk when those people come back in.
But then there's a question as well about reformation in the prison system. Prison is not just to incarcerate.
Our prison system don't reform.
There is reformation that ought to happen when you go behind bars. And so the question is, how much of that actually happened, and how changed a person are you when you finally get your freedom?
Yeah, I don't think our prison system is set up for reformation, to be honest with you. That way you hear about the way prisoners are treated, the abuse and everything that goes on there, even by the warders who are supposed to be protecting the prisoners. There's no reformation that happens there.
The painful part with it as well is too often we hear of sexual crimes and the punishment feels like a slap on the wrist. So people go behind bars for sexual crimes in a very short period of time, too short a period of time in too many instances, they're back out. And so even if there was a reformation program, are they getting enough contact hours to be able to make that kind of change before they're out on the road again? So I believe in publishing that list, but it's a conversation that has to continue publicly.
It has to continue, but the longer we take to decide, remember we're putting more and more of our children at risk.
And we have to protect them. Folks, we've got a packed show for you. All of the show today is going to be dedicated to the budget. What's projected for the 2020-2021 spend? We're going to take a look at that.
But first, let's take a look back at some of the top business stories of the week.
At number 5, business groups in Canada are demanding the government end demonstrations that have paralyzed the country's rail network. It's estimated that the disruption is costing the country's economy billions of dollars. The protesters oppose the building of the Coastal Gas Link pipeline, which passes through the land of Indigenous people known as First Nations in Canada. At number 4, China's aviation market has fallen from 3rd in the world to 25th. Airlines have slashed capacity because of the novel coronavirus, leaving the industry reeling. About 1.7 million seats, that's almost 80% of capacity, were dropped from China services from January 20 to February 17 by global carriers. Meanwhile, Chinese airlines have cut 10.4 million seats domestically. At number 3, the European Union has added Panama and Cayman to its blacklist of tax havens. The EU says both countries have not implemented the necessary tax reforms to be in line with EU standards. The EU has set up the blacklist system to sanction those it deems guilty of unfairly offering tax avoidance schemes. Other Caribbean countries on the EU blacklist are Trinidad and Tobago and the US Virgin Islands. At number 2, the JMMB Group recorded a net profit of $4 billion Jamaican dollars for the 9-month period ending December 31, 2019. This represented a 33% year-over-year increase. The group says that this performance was largely driven by growth in its core business operations, namely net gains on securities trading, foreign exchange trading gains, fees and commission income, and net interest income. At number 1, training institute iCreate Limited has raised 24 million Jamaican dollars through a bond issue. CEO Tyrone Wilson says the money will be used for working capital support. The bond is structured for semi-annual payments at 12.5% and matures in 5 years. The issue comes exactly a year after the training institute raised $70 million in an initial public offering IPO to stock market investors.
When we come back from this break, we're talking numbers, budget numbers, right here on Point.
business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
Outsourced finance and accounting service. Growing companies face a challenge. For you to stay focused on building your business, you need solid financial management with a dependable accounting function, a resource you may not have in-house. That's where we come in. Dodgen Global provides startups and other businesses with outsourced accounting and finance solutions on a fixed fee basis. No matter what your size or fundraising status, we can tailor our services to fit your needs at every stage of your company's life cycle. Whether you want to add expertise to your existing team or completely outsource your accounting and finance functions, we offer reliable and economical options, including accounting system installations and upgrades from simple to complex, help establishing preferred banking, legal, payroll, benefits, and HR relationships, paperless online bill payment and bookkeeping, financial reporting and advice for management and investors, financial statement audit management, sales tax compliance. Our team can help you make smarter, more effective decisions. Let's have a conversation. Contact us at email info@dodgen.global. Website https://dodgen.global.
Welcome back to On Point. $852.7 billion. That's how much money the government is expected to spend next year. That's $6 billion less than was spent in the year of 2019. Now, what's changed? Take a look at the numbers.
The government is projecting to spend $852.7 billion during the new fiscal year. Compared to the current year, which ends March 31, that's $6.4 billion less. This reduced estimate is heavily influenced by the reduction in debt servicing costs. $155 billion has been set aside for that. $74 billion will go towards capital expenditure, which involves the construction of roads and other projects. Wages and salaries is always a sizable portion of the budget. The Holness administration is projecting to fork out $221 billion to cover that cost during the 2020-2021 fiscal year. The government also plans to execute a few programs spanning different sectors, including technology and education. The government plans to spend $232 billion on that line item. So how will all this spending be financed? The government plans to use taxes, which they're projecting will amount to $675 billion. That will be supplemented by external funding such as grants and loans.
And joining us now to talk about these figures and their implications are Jermaine Burrell, Group Research Manager at the JMB Group, and economist, opposition senator, senior lecturer at UWI, and PNP caretaker for West Central St. James, Dr. Andre Horton. Welcome to On Point, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us. Quite a long title.
Lots going on for you. We'll get to some of it. Let me start with you, Jermaine. Take a look at the budget numbers. Happy?
Generally speaking, yes, I am. The budget now represents more of a direction that we have wanted to see for quite some time. We're seeing now where the focus is either on a balanced budget or a budget where there is either a marginal surplus or a marginal deficit. This is in stark contrast to what we would have experienced in years gone by when we had to grapple with the challenges of a large fiscal deficit, anything running between 5 to 6% of GDP. This budget is one that will help to slowly grind down the debt to GDP number, and that's of paramount importance to us, particularly in the financial sector. We want to see the debt ratios coming down. We want to see the interest coverage ratio coming down. And effectively what we want is more room, or what you call fiscal space in the budget, to allow for more spending on the capital expenditure side. In particular, the roads. Well, roads are being spent on now, but we have to go to the hospitals, the schools, and the sort of technological advancements to get Jamaica to where we want it to be. Things like public sector transformation, things like getting our numbers to the point that we can get to that, maybe not first world as yet, but at least get to the point where we have a much better society where we can spend on tough issues like crime in particular, to get our country to that development level. So
Andre,
that's particular.
I have to agree with Jeremy, and I want your views, because I remember the run with it years in 2003 and so when. You used to take antidepressant for a month before the budget come out.
No,
what's your view?
If we're looking at this year's budget in absolute terms, where it is now, we're budgeting to spend $53 billion. Last year we budgeted to spend 803, and we end up spending up 860. So if you compare this year to last year, it's really a contractionary budget. So what is the aim of a budget? The aim of a budget is really for a country to table out its spending over a particular period of time to see where best to put streams of spending in order to achieve its objectives. Now, first and foremost, if you have a contractionary budget, you cannot expect growth in an economy.
Is this Andre the politician or Andre the economist?
This is Andre the economist. A budget contracts when the amount you spent last year is greater than the amount that you spend this year, then you have a contractionary budget. Mind you, that the fall, the largest portion of the fall is in recurrent expenditure, because capital expenditure has increased marginally. But when you look at the budget in its entirety, yes, we're paying down our debt, because that is very important. And we have been paying down our debt over the last 7 years. That is why we have moved gradually from a GDP debt ratio of 140% to 93% currently. But when you look at a budget like this one, and you look at the challenges that we face as a country, we face severe growth challenges. In 2016, the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation came out and they hypothesized that the country should by 2020 grow by 5% per annum. Currently, we are growing at less than 2%. So in this case, there are two ways to approach it. One is to cut spending and then see what happens gradually down the line. And two is to directly penetrate areas of growth where spending is necessary. So when I'm looking at the budget itself, it's really a budget that is following the rhetoric, that is following through with a template that has been laid by the International Monetary Fund, with no cleverness as to how the country is really going to get out of this 1%, 2% growth trap.
But a template that others would have said is working. A template where, if you looked at the budgets of the past,
no, if you look at last year's budget is relatively the same to this year's budget in terms of how it approaches paying down debt.
And I'm not talking about immediate past.
Yes.
I'm talking about budgets 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
No, even budget 5 years ago was geared towards paying down debt. Because 5 years ago, we were in that position, 148% of GDP, and it's through our budgetary process every year, we have been successfully able to shave off a 10%, a 10%. Well, this has been going on for 5 years.
I put it to you and Jeremy. It is not through no budgetary process or pay off debt, it's debt restructuring.
Yeah, but that plays a role. No, listen. The way the budget comes into the debt is that we could have been spending more and borrowing more, which we have not been doing. What we have been doing is consolidating spending, and then we make sure that whatever we borrow goes towards debt servicing. I don't agree with that.
I want Jeremy to answer. My view, Jeremy, is that, and I have been in situations as an accountant where I've contracted expenditure and the business has grown, right? It's how you spend the money. But more important than growth, isn't it about policies rather than the budget?
Growth is not exclusive to government spending. Remember, the classic equation that we all use: consumption, investment, government spending is a part of it. But remember, what we have had in Jamaica over the last, let's say, 30 years, is where the government's involvement in the economy has really crowded out the private sector. Yes. With this type of budget that we're seeing now, where the focus is primarily on grinding down the numbers, what we have effectively done is to force the private sector now to stop depending on GOJ debt and to become more innovative. So, for example, look at basically the massive growth that we're seeing now in terms of the stock market. Look at the number of companies that you are seeing looking now to raise financing. Look at the number of corporate debt instruments that you see out there now. What we're having is that because the government has stepped out of that whole, being heavily involved in the economy, you're seeing now where the private sector is borrowing more at low interest rates to use that financing now to boost individual businesses. You're seeing a situation now where a lot of businesses that prior to were not necessarily interested in being larger and taking a greater share of the Jamaican economy, they are becoming a lot more interested now. So for me, the whole issue of not having the budget where we're aggressively spending, etc. For me, I'm seeing that, listen, the debt numbers are coming down, the government is not as involved as it used to be, and the private sector now is coming in to sort of fill that void. Yes, I agree with him that there are some key areas. So for example, things that deal with long-term growth of an economy like education and the quality of jobs, those things are of paramount importance. But the more you grind down the debt numbers is the more fiscal space you create. So for me, for example, I believe that we have spent a lot of time on roads, but you still have education, you still have healthcare, and healthcare is a big issue.
We're going to trickle down into some of those line items, but usually when these numbers are tabled, for a lot of people, it's a preview of things to come, and they are looking for surprise announcements.
Yeah, I mean, the meat of the matter with the budget, when the discussion gets heated is when it comes to the revenue measures. But, yes, in economics, firms are really responsible for producing output. So when firms produce more, that is how economies grow. But the government has to facilitate that growth process. Now, throughout the summer, there has always been drought problems. Drought in rural areas, drought in urban areas. Drought affects farming output. When farming output is low, it means that industrial activity that depends on this farming output is also low. When you have industrialization, water plays a significant role. We are not seeing where the government are serious about solving, for example, our water issues so that farming output can be stabilized in the economy. These are the things that I'm talking about. So it's not as if I'm saying, okay, this is the worst budget ever. No, the budget is just following through with what has been done year to year. So now, fundamentally, in order for an economy to move from its current path of growth.
I want to put it to you.
Yes.
That the problem with our water issues and all of those things is not that the expenditure is not provided, but that it has more to do with like a procurement process, for example.
No, well, we need to fix that. We need to fix that ASAP, so the government needs to fix that procurement process.
I have a situation at NSWMA where we have projected and we have provided for new trucks to come into the system.
Trucks,
garbage truck. For me to get that though, to go through the procurement process, in months it take me.
Yeah, well, I understand. I understand all of that, and they're doing. So the government is failing on two parts. One, they are not implementing, and two, they are not doing what is necessary to stop the unnecessary bureaucracy and to make the procurement easier. The point I am making is Jamaica need two big dams. We need two big dams. One to service east, one to service west where water is concerned. I'm looking at budget, I don't see anything as it relates to building out these two big dams. We can't get people, if Jamaican people can't make it, we get people from foreign who can make it and come make it. So basic things like water distribution is not being addressed as sufficiently as it should be. Now, let us move to how economies grow. Economies grow when people absorb innovation and technology. That is how it's growing now. And the government has to facilitate that process through budgetary activity and where the channel lies. Now, there's a part in the budget that speaks to innovation, but the innovation that they're looking at is animation and TV this and computer graphics. It has nothing to do with software engineering. It has nothing to do with technological absorption. It has nothing to do with real innovation now where countries are looking into making microchips. I'm going to Rwanda next month or the month after. They are making their own cell phones, engineered by government policy. They have invited VW to come to their country and they are making cars, engineered by government policy.
What you to see in the budget to reflect that kind of policy change?
I just said it. Water, number one.
The technology policy change, what would you have wanted
All right,
to see
so from a technological point of view, we would want to see the training. We'd want to see where schools are now being equipped with the necessary infrastructure that they need to do this training.
So you want to see education budget to reflect that kind of thing?
Wherever it's coming from, whether education, whether Ministry of Industry and Commerce after education, wherever they put it, it doesn't really matter to me. All I want to do is to see it there, that yes, we're taking innovation, Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation.
You're giving Jermaine jokes, tell me.
We can't give him jokes.
I want to hear.
It's the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. The Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation must play a role.
I want Jermaine to come in.
Let me tell you why I'm laughing, right? I'm looking at where we're coming from as far back, as early back, I would say, as 2008, 2009, we had a global financial crisis. Yeah. The fiscal deficit was 10% of GDP during that time. And we had a situation where the same debt to GDP that we were talking about was 145%, right? Between 2009, 2010, so 10 years later, we're in 2020. And during that time, we have moved the debt to GDP ratio from 145 now to about 91%. That is a marked increase. But hold on. Everything you take within the context of where we're coming from.
What is the difference?
So my argument, hold on, man. You have to take things within the context of where it is coming from. And the economies don't just turn around overnight. It's a step-by-step process. So what's happening now is that you're grinding down your debt numbers and you're creating fiscal space. The more you continue to grind down is the more space you can use to build the big dam that you're talking about. But you need to get the debt ratios down and get the space created before you can start to do the spending. Remember, the problem that we have always had in the past, is that we run some marginal deficits. Hold on, man, I soon tell you what is going on. Listen, just hear me out, man, hear me out. We run a few marginal deficits. Hold on, let me tell you. We run a few marginal deficits, and we look as if we're doing something. And then we decide that, okay, next year we're going to spend. And then when we decide to spend, we unravel all of the gains that we had made before. Yeah. Let's get ourselves into the position now where running marginal deficits, balanced budget, marginal surpluses becomes the norm. When that becomes the norm and you get to that point where your debt to GDP ratio get down to the 70%, no, it is not that yet. Because where we are now, remember that at 90%, this can all unravel quickly, Let us run a 5% fiscal deficit 1 year. And the rating agencies, hold on, I don't know, this is what I say.
So Andre,
let there be a mistake. And we run a 5% deficit 1 year. And you begin to see how this fragile confidence just start to erode like that.
Let me ask you this. You could possibly be in the Ministry of Finance after the next election. There's a possibility.
Okay.
Are you saying that you would have increased your current expenditure and be spending more money?
I can't make that statement sitting as an opposition.
So what are you saying then?
I am saying that the line items where the money should be spent to increase growth in the economy, we are not seeing it.
So what would you do as a prospective person in the Ministry of Finance?
We have to address the water issue, we have to address absorption.
So what would you change? What would you change in the budget?
At the expense of what in the budget right now?
A lot of things can change, man. When I look at the budget, there are so many unnecessary spending and
like
so
what?
many things,
like
so many climate change and resistance.
Climate change.
Them train people to do this, do that, where it have no bearing on economic growth in the country. It's just some money being spent down some channels where it's just true you get a grant.
So you don't think climate change is essential?
Yes,
for growth?
it is essential, but how those, look at line items again, you'll see it. It's just like unnecessary money being spent in some areas where it's not contributing.
Like what?
Training of people for go look for this, that.
This, that. What is this,
it have
that?
nothing to do
What
with
this,
the increase in the absorption of technology. Look, you see, as long as I am not seeing where the building of parks and we need to take economic growth and our approach towards providing the necessary training and the necessary infrastructure, innovation. As a matter of fact, we want to see a technology and innovation advancement fund. And I'm not seeing it. We still have a tourism enhancement fund. It's still split in two. And we have a tourism enhancement fund, you get half, and technology and innovation for young people get the next half. That is what I want to see.
Come back more on point.
Dodge & Global offers a CPA scholarship program to team members who join our team. A career in accountancy at Dodge & Global is a great choice and can offer you excellent job prospects. We believe that an accounting education is the greatest gift you can give yourself or anyone else. Few gifts make as significant an impact as the gift of an accountancy education with a job. It's a contribution that lasts a lifetime in the form of learning, opportunity, and success. Join our team and get the opportunity to be part of our CPA scholarship program. This scholarships awards program will be administered by the HR department of Dodge & Global. Requirements: first degree in accounting, employed at Dodge & Global, willing to pursue the CPA examination. Here's how to apply. Submit application to Staff Accountant, Dodge & Global. Email sa@dodgen.com.
Welcome back to On Point, a very lively discussion here taking place. And I'm not even going to introduce you guys because we don't have the time for waste. So Jermaine, is what Andre is saying, does that register with you?
What he is saying makes sense from the perspective that yes, we need a lot of planning, there are technology parks that we need to introduce, etc. But my challenge is, from where I sit, I still believe that the whole position that we're at now from a fiscal and a growth perspective, I still believe that it's still very fragile. Remember that having a debt to GDP ratio of 91% or 90%, that is still a relatively precarious position, and it is noted by all of the ratings that Jamaica gets, because right now we're rated at single B. Persons think that it's A, B, and C. It is not. As a single B rated country, we're still considered to be non-investment grade. We're not even close to it. We would have to be upgraded to double B and then to triple B, so there's a lot more to go. So at 90%, at debt to GDP ratio of 90%, we need to grind down the numbers until we get to that 60-70%, where the financial markets are very comfortable with us and where the room exists to spend on what he's speaking about. So it's a matter of timing. And then the other thing, the Jamaican economy is very, very fragile. It's a small, open economy. What has happened now is that we're having this thing where, as I said, growth in the stock market. But the growth in the stock market comes from the perspective that these companies are confident that there is stability in the economy. So once you have that level of stability, it means that you can take exposure, you can come in and you can borrow because you can borrow at lower rates. But you don't want a situation where you come in now and you begin to spend as a government and you reverse the gains that you would have made before.
Let's look at the other side of that coin, which is the revenue side. And people immediately, when the numbers come out, look to the tax revenues and what is the expectation for tax revenues in the financial year. We don't see a huge change in things like the GCT line. What does that say to you?
From where we sit, I mean, last year, GCT revenues increased. And this year, it's also hypothesized to increase. Yeah. The idea here is that the government, GCT is collected on goods that are sold or whatever the case may be. The more goods that are produced and the more goods that are sold, the higher the revenue that we get from GCT. So GCT is also a determinant of economic growth. Following. So if we increase...
Or is an outcome of economic growth.
Yeah, so if we were able to increase, even the debt itself is a fraction of economic growth. So remember, one is in the denominator and one is in the numerator. So the debt is in the numerator, growth in the denominator. If we can increase that denominator while holding the numerator constant, the debt to GDP ratio is going to fall. It is going to fall. So we cannot have a contractionary budget moving from 860. And as a matter of fact, we have hypothesized that this 852 billion won't be enough. So by November, October, there's going to be an supplementary budget, very similar to last year, when they hypothesized a budget for 803 billion, and then by November it reached 820. By December, it reached 840. By the time the budget period done, it reached 860. So what we are saying is that the budget didn't even cover inflationary changes. So normally, if you have the same budget year to year, when you have 1 year 860, inflation being 6%, then this year budget would be 6% greater than last year budget.
But you can spend less.
So
you can spend less and
yes,
more.
we agree that. My mother teach everybody you can spend less and get more.
Yeah.
That's a simple thing. But you see, if every year you hypothesize, oh, next year growth is going to be 5%, when you look on the budget is a contractionary budget, growth turn out 1%. What you expect? Oh, growth is going to be 4%. You look at the budget, is a contractionary budget.
Andre, the budget is not a signal, direct signal of growth. Right?
But fiscal policy, which is different, that is administered through the budget indicates how economic activity is going to flow.
Supports fiscal policy, but
it indicates how the economy is going to flow for the following year. So if you have a government that is administering a contractionary budget, then you cannot expect to see growth
if you think that we may start until the president again if you get into the ministry.
Jeremy doesn't agree with you. Tell me why not.
But remember, so we spoke, he made mention of the fact that the debt to GDP ratio can come down by growing the nominal GDP, which is in the denominator, right? But remember that Jamaica has a challenge with growth. For the last 35, maybe 40 years, the average growth for Jamaica is less than 1%, if you do the numbers, Yes. But the problems that we have with growth are clearly not just macro factors.
No.
So remember, we said before that once it is that we get the debt levels down, once it is that we get interest rates down, but we have gotten all of these factors down, but we're not seeing that catapulting of growth. So clearly we have a problem in terms of micro factors. And when I say micro factors, this is what I mean. Things like the education level of the labor force. Things like our absorptive capacity. So for example, let's say that we decide that we want to spend on a big project, the same big project that you're talking about. If we decide to build a huge dam, there is no domestic company that has that capacity.
I expect to see an increase in the education line. Hold on. But then I expect to see...
nobody here to build motor cars.
It's not so straightforward. It's not so straightforward. It's not so straightforward.
Let me tell you.
It's policy and how policy is implemented.
But this is the point I want to make. I like the growth argument, I like the building of the dam.
Yeah.
I am one that I've been saying for a number of years that listen, we make bauxite while we can't make aluminium. Or aluminium. Yeah. Because that is the value. Hold on, hold on, man. Right, listen, but the problem is that if you build a hydroelectric dam, right, all of the money that you spend from the hydroelectric dam will be something that is going to leave our economy, because the people that you'll be spending the money with, right, is going to be some overseas engineer. So the multiplier effect that we would hope for, we're not going to get it.
No, you giving Andre jokes. Tell me
why. But ask him, we're not going to get it.
I want to hear what's so funny.
China them build a road. The money them we spend on the road leave the economy same way. So I want to say China them build a hospital, so money we spend. So true, we want to have a exfoliating budget, make I use that word, a budget that is contractionary. We don't make an excuse, say, we drive cars, we don't make any. The point is, this is what the country needs, so this is what we have to invest in. You following what I'm saying?
Yeah, but Andre, hold on, Andre, the budget, I think we can read, the budget don't necessarily drive growth.
We
right?
know
not the amount of
it
money.
is an indicator. There is no country that administers a contractionary budget and expect the economy to grow.
Started the thing on the revenue. We need to talk about the revenue. The revenue is now germane, right? It is showing, when you look at the numbers, that there's not going to be any major tax package or anything, right?
And people were speculating. They were wondering, is GCT going to increase?
Which is good.
What is the conversation around
for disposable income?
What is the conversation around income tax?
One line I noticed though, when you're reading the revenues, it shows that telecommunications license is going to double.
Yeah.
Does that mean, that could mean that we're having a new provider in the market?
It could be. It could be. We know that there are challenges currently with a particular telecommunications provider, especially refinancing of their debt, etc., etc. So it could indicate that. But the good thing about the revenue numbers that I like is that even though the economy is not experiencing this massive growth, you are still seeing where the revenue line is growing by 6 and 7%, which is good. And it speaks to the fact that unemployment has come down from about 12–13% down to about 7% now. So more persons are working, more PAYE, even though the jobs are marginal, which you and I have spoken about before. That is not the best of jobs that we'd want to see.
70% of our people leave high school without a certificate.
Without a certificate. So that's the problem. So that's why I like the fact that the unemployment is coming down, even though it's not the high quality jobs, but it still represents individuals who otherwise would have possibly
been engaged now.
Crime. So they're engaged now. It's a little marginal money, but they can eat. You understand? They can eat. It is important to start at that point first, and then to move to the value-added jobs after.
There was a particular line item that I was looking for that I haven't seen. There was conversation from the security front earlier, perhaps mid-last year, that there would have been money allocated to retire some police officers out of necessity.
Okay.
Not a small figure.
Yes. Yeah.
And I was looking for that in the budget and I haven't seen
there are a lot of deficiencies.
What does that mean for transformation of the police force?
There are a lot of deficiencies in the budget as it relates to national security. I mean, you see the crime problem that we face. And I know whatever I say is going to be,
colored.
Andre say, or Ray. But brother, look at it this way. We face a big crime problem, see, and the crime capital budget doesn't look sufficient to me. And when you look at it also with the supporting services, because I am from a volatile community, and I have seen where social intervention programs like the football and the this and the netball and the activities distract young people and provide them with a means of expressing themselves so they turn less to crime. And I'm at the social workers that are needed now to go into these communities with the trauma. And these guys are civilized country. We are looking upon Jamaica as a civilized country. It's not a country where I say, okay, we just want the debt come down, so we don't spend nothing this summer now, but we are spent on climate change and people must go train about resilient of sunshine and get too hot and
and hurricanes getting too intense.
Yeah, and then think that when your neighbor get shoot up yesterday, Somebody, your next neighbor, your friend kill him wife and kill them sister, and you want. So the civil, may I tell you, say it's not really a clever budget. It's civilized.
But then it's a little bit strange, right? Because from my perspective, what I understand is that a lot of money has been allocated, not necessarily to the JCF, but more to the JDF. Yeah. Because from what I understand, hold on. From what I understand, the JDF has been recruiting more, and they're recruiting more on the technological side. So persons with legal skills, persons with investigating skills, because what they want to do is to get to the point now where the criminal activity, a lot of things happening under the quiet. So I think that what's happening now is that persons may not be as supportive or confident then in the police, because there are little things that persons complain about, etc. So what they're doing now is to improve the intelligence on the JDF side and improve the technology so that we're able to fight crime more from an evidence-based perspective.
That is very necessary. So why not through the police force? Why through the soldier? They mean soldier, brother.
No,
but there is intelligence, but you have intelligence. As a matter of fact,
Andre, listen, as a matter of fact, in many countries, including here, the same bridge you want to build is soldier bridge.
Yeah, I know. I love the JDF. Yeah. I have a lot of friends who are part of the defense force, but now what we're seeing, and the young people, I live in Mount Salem, where there's a zone of special operation, and no soldier not using no intelligence there. Soldier use brute force there.
I've heard differently.
You know, did they? Here say experience are two different things. So what them tell us? Say soldier them use finesse and soldier them do.
That there's some door-to-door relationship development happening in the community, and people feeling
so soldier them are psychologists
and give information to soldier that they wouldn't have given to police.
Yes, but them still use brute force. Guys like it inner them. Them still use brute force. So the soft skills them. Why we can't say somebody go to university go train for the social work? Why we can't say invest in them? Why we have to say we have to train soldier for turn social worker? Say soldier them will move from a pit bull type of behavior to a poodle dog, mommy.
Nobody's saying that.
No, nobody's saying that.
No, I never said that.
Invest more than soldier them for kind of intelligence and
investing in them to allow for greater intelligence in crime fighting, not social work.
Yeah, that's important. Crime fighting comes with many facets. So you see the overall thing, them you have to have soldier, police, they're important, yes, but you still have to have social intervention, plus or minus the aggression, mommy.
I hear you. The time is ticking, and I need to ask you about something, because one of the things that in an election year folks do with the budget is they put in some sweets to kind of seal the deal for them for the election.
Yeah.
If you look at the numbers, you don't get an indication.
That comes from the revenue side.
You don't get an indication of what that sweetener is for the Andrew Holness administration.
That will come. We'll have to have a second discussion whenever the revenue measures are tabled, because that is normally where the sweets are distributed. You know, it would be like, for example, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. So when Christmas Day comes, then we see exactly where it is going. I mean, in this budget at this particular time, there's nothing indicating, based on how it is tabled, that they want to call an election next month or the month after.
Andre, your party leader had recommended a reduction in GCT of 2%. You support that?
When? No, man, everything with the GCT thing done unraveling and news already, man.
So I ask if you support that.
When you go, I don't know my point of view already. I'm going to tell you my point of view. Say, how it works, you have to look at the cost and benefit of every action. And
so you wouldn't support that 2%? I'm just wondering, because look, the Minister of Finance also had said that that was in the works and that's a possibility.
Okay,
so would you support a 2% reduction in the GCT?
Who, me? You know, I already hear my views. It's not the most optimal option. I tell you already, I'm going to tell you again, I stick by it. If you want to give back the people them something, we have to give them back something substantial. I'm telling you already from my point of view.
You wouldn't welcome a $40,000 a year of every how much? 40,000 out of every 2 million you spend or so.
Dennis, 77% of income earners earn less than 1.5 a year. Yeah. 77% of income earners in Jamaica spend less than 120,000 a month. Yeah. That savings where you talk about are like 2,500 a month.
And you do not think that a poor person
$120,000 you spend a month, you're not a poor person. A poor person go spend $10,000, you must save $200.
So you don't think that a man who have only $10,000 a month to spend would welcome $200?
Magna can give him back that, brother.
So you don't believe
Magna can give him back that.
You don't believe
Magna can give him back that.
The budget debate is half as exciting as our show was today.
Magna can give him back that, brother.
But hold on.
I give you the final word.
We have to close.
I give you the final word.
But I have the final word, but go ahead. No, but because I want to ask this question.
This is what
Scale of 1 to 10. 10 being the highest. Where you put the budget?
Budget not done. Now half I budget this.
Where do you put it? 1 to 10.
Budget not done.
1 to 10. 1 to 10. 1 to 10. Where you put it?
6.
6.
Yeah,
1 to 10.
7.5.
7.5.
Time to take a break.
You have the final word.
We take a quick break. When we come back, more on point.
I'm 36. I'm a husband, a manager, and still very good looking. In 2 hours, I have the most important meeting of my life. But first, it's time to play. The new Suzuki Vitara.
Hi, it's Novia MacDonald White, Senior Associate Editor at the Jamaica Observer. And guess what? You are watching Business Access Television.
Welcome back to On Point. The government will be spending more on national security in the next budget. But what's the allocation like for the other ministries? Take a look at the numbers.
The lion's share of the 2020-2021 budget is going to the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service. That ministry will receive $411 billion, a large portion of which is earmarked for debt servicing. The Education Ministry has the second largest sum, totaling $118 billion. National Security gets another increase for the next fiscal year, being allocated $94 billion. The Health Ministry will receive almost $78 billion. Meanwhile, the Economic Growth Ministry will get $33 billion, and $14 billion is being set aside for the Ministry of Industry, Agriculture and Fisheries.
With elections constitutionally during a year, this may be the last budget presentation before a general election is held. So our On Point team hit the streets and asked, how would you rate the Holness administration's handling of the economy so far?
I give him 75% out of 100 because I see changes. I say a lot of youth are going to work now, so that means some farmer economical thing that are going on. It's a whole heap of structure building a go up, and IMF deal done with. And you have to pop in my boy still, Peter Phillips. You have to give my props to that. And you can't see growth according to the media. You hear the growth about, so I give him the thumbs up.
For jobs, I would say 45, because for young persons like myself, I am all the way from Clarendon and I have to come into New Kingston to find a job. Not that we're not making ourselves qualified or getting qualified, it's just that the opportunities are not there. The government doesn't provide them. So I'm not too much for Andrew Holness.
I think he's working, but if we could get some more, that'd be good, I rate him at like about 90%,
He's doing an excellent job. But my only problem with him, he's too soft on crime. But with the economy, he's doing excellent. So, if you ever get to talk to him for me, tell him, say, listen, you need to step on crime a little bit more, all right?
I give him a thumbs up because with the whole heap of call center that we see around the inner cities and thing, the youths them have been given a chance now. I mean, one time I look at China wholesale, them would have to go get a little work and thing. The youth them come out now call center, yeah. Some good pay and some little thing are going. Yeah, man. I give him thumbs up for that.
Not very political, but as a young person, I would rate that he's doing good because I'm seeing things happening. However, I've been always seeing things happening with whoever is running the government. However, what I noticed that he's doing recently is he's saying that he's providing jobs, and the only jobs I'm seeing appearing are call centers. I don't believe that he's providing the economy with jobs by saying that he's allowing these call centers to pop up all over the place, because they're not long term. They just use it for the peak season, whatever they need you for, and once that is done, they just ramp you down and find other people when they're ready for you again. I don't see that as providing jobs. I think stuff like, say for instance, government jobs. I believe that if he's to open those to opportunities to younger people, that I would believe that he's providing jobs to young people. But until then, no.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
Hi, I'm Edmund Bartlett, Minister of Tourism, and you are watching Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Dennis, what a show. Yeah. You are the numbers man. You took a look at the budget. Your own thoughts on it?
I think it's a very good budget. There are a few things I like about it. As I've always said, I don't think you have to necessarily be increasing your expenditure every year, because what you need to do is spend wisely, right? I like the fact that there's a definite effort to constrain the expenditure. It has shown in the revenue numbers, because you're not really expecting anything new coming this year, right? There's no shortfall on the budget. I like the fact also that they're projecting out. They're projecting up to 2025 or 2024, which is something you want. So the budget debates, the lesser budget debates that are going to come after now are going to be even more important, because you have to be talking more about strategy at the ministerial level, right? So I think it's a very good budget. I mean, as I said at the start of the conversation, this time, we will have budgets now that people don't even pay attention to, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
It's not like first time that a budget coming up and you start take your pressure tablet from 2 months before, because you don't know what's happening. So I think it's a very good budget. I think that there are some things that need to happen, but it's outside of the budget to get the growth.
There's some particularly, yes, for sure.
The labor market reform that needs to happen. The law and order issues, those things are outside of the budget.
Speculations always, well, particularly for this budget, there were speculations around for income tax, personal income tax, whether or not they were going to do away with that. For the GCT, whether or not that was going to be touched upwards or downwards. And we haven't seen a huge change in either of those two numbers. So the kind of 1.5 that people would have bet on in the last election, that people would have made a determination on who they're going to vote in based on that 1.5 change. We're not seeing any kind of indication of what the carrot may be for the next general election, which is going to make the debates interesting.
I mean, I think that they could possibly be looking at a reduction, a small reduction maybe in taxes somehow, maybe an increase in the threshold, or maybe even to stump the suggestion by Phillips, a decrease in the GCT rate. Because I think something is coming, because this is a year that you have to show people that you have something to give them back.
Yeah.
It's election year. I mean, people, it might not be gone until February 2020, but the fact is that
there's no budget
before that.
Yeah.
You know, so they're going to give something back.
It's going to be interesting to see. What's for sure, though, is Jamaica is in a good place in terms of the numbers. We're in a good place in terms of managing fiscal responsibility, and it's something that we look forward to continuing. On that note, folks, we've got to say a big thank you to everybody who made the show possible. Thanks to the very hardworking crew behind those cameras. Thanks also to you, our viewers, for tuning in week after week. I'm Patria K. Charles.
And I'm Dennis Chung. Until next week.
On Point was brought to you by Darjan Global.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business